For some reason today I was remembering back when I was 16 years old. And at 16 years old, I'm about 100 pounds. I'm sedating. I'm addicted. I'm a dropout. I'm on the streets. I'm bouncing from house to house, and just life a total mess. You see, all I knew at that point was to make excuses. My life was tough. My life was hard. If only I had different parents. If only I had that job. If only things would have worked out for me. You see, I was stuck in this cycle of excuses. And I could have used the death of my grandmother or my parents abusing me or being taken away. I could have used whatever excuse there was in the book to stay where I was. It was at that moment that I decided to begin to take responsibility for my life and begin to do the things that intuitively I knew were the right things to do. And so there are really two paths that we can go by. And as I take this lesson in my everyday life, there's always two paths. I can walk down the path of excuses, or I can walk down the path of responsibility and success. You see, the path of excuses, it starts like this. It starts with, it's not my fault, which locks in our mindset and our ideas that I'm not responsible. And so we're facing a situation in our business, in our life, in our marriage, in our family, and we immediately take on the victim role and we say, you know what, it's not my fault. And then it leads to, since it's not my fault, I don't have any control over the outcomes. And what this does is it leaves us in a weak, pitiful state. Because if we don't believe that we have control over the outcomes, then we don't believe that we can change our situation. And therefore we become a victim to fate, a victim to chance, a victim to other people. And this leads us to no motivation to change. Why would we have any motivation to change something that we do not have the power to change? And then we go to bad results. This is the nasty life. Whatever area we begin to make excuses in, that area of our life begins to fall apart, and it's tore up and it's nasty. And because we didn't take responsibility, because we don't believe that we have control over the situation, we begin to fall into this pit of victimhood. And now everything that comes against us, we can't see it because it's not my fault and I don't have any control over it. And this cycle can continue in every area of our life. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be in business. How come I'm not making money? And the first thing that enters my mind is, it's not my fault. Therefore, I do not have any control over this situation. Therefore, I don't have any motivation. Therefore, I'm not going to do anything about it. Therefore, I'm stuck in this cycle of excuses, What about my marriage? My marriage is falling apart. It's not my fault. And then we point to the other person. We point to something else. The bottom line is, it's not my fault. Therefore, I don't have control over it. I can't fix it. And therefore, I'm not going to even try. And therefore, it falls apart. And we do this with so many areas of our life. And we don't understand that we're stuck. We are stuck. You see, the cycle of success looks a lot different. And I learned it by experience. It's this. I face something and I say, I am responsible. This is my responsibility. And if we go through something bad and we mess it all up, we ask ourselves, what could I have done differently? And then that empowers us to take control over the outcomes. You see, the victim mentality doesn't. It's somebody else's fault. I don't have control of the outcomes. The success cycle looks like this. I am responsible. What could I have done differently? I am in control of the outcomes. And guess what that produces? Now all of a sudden I got some high motivation because I'm responsible and I am empowered and I have high motivation. Guess what I get? I get way better results. You see, when we point the finger out there and say, this is the reason why this area of my life is not up to par, we steal our power and we take it away, and all we're left is stuck in the cycle of excuses. You see, we have to make a different choice. If we're going round and around the excuse cycle, it's not my fault. I don't have control over the outcomes. My motivation is sucked away and my results suck. The only thing that we could do is own up to it and begin to step into the idea, this is my responsibility. Awesome stuff. If you guys are interested in the free 7-day impact challenge, hit me up. You see, I begin to understand that my life was the way it was because I was not challenging myself. And so take the challenge. Hit me up on Messenger. I'll tell you about it. It's coming soon. Peace out.